everyone, welcome to episode 34 of Wizard Weekly, where we bring you news and humor from around the spiral. The 12 days of Wizard are counting down quickly with the poetry contest, the Christmas, a new Arctic Pig Ninja pet, the occasional free item, yesterday's free evil snowman transformation, and today's super cheap candy cane mount. There's also a ton of new holiday items in the crown shop for you that were, for a time, crowns only. KingsIsle has fixed that little bug, so now they'll be available for gold as well, and they've refunded the crowns of those witches and wizards who bought the items while they were crowns only. One of the new items is a rather sticky Christmas wreath, and KingsIsle is busily trying to fix it. However, make sure you've put it where you want it the first time because once placed on your wall, this wreath won't budge. The Ivy League is another sticky plant and has been hanging onto its seeds until just recently when, during Wizard 101 maintenance early this week, KingsIsle managed to coax our collegiate comrade into departing with seeds while being harvested. You should be receiving them now when you try to harvest your Ivy League at Elder. The holiday contests on Wizard 101 Central have been coming and going, with some already closed and others opening. Your chance to get in on the holiday cheer is dwindling though, so if you haven't entered into any one of the many contests, you really ought to. There's still a little bit of something left for everyone to enter, and if contests aren't really your thing, make sure you at least try out the daily raffle. If you've been looking for the Sultan's Palace card while it was out house hunting, you'll be glad to know it found a home just in time for the holidays. Having left GameStop about a month ago, this card has been on the move ever since and has been hard to get your hands on, but it's finally made itself at home in blockbuster stores across the nation. Perhaps it's stopped to look at the death chamber of Scarlet Emeraldweaver, whose hard mode entry in the December dorm room dash has landed her in the finals. Her death chamber was inspired by her character, who needed a place to get away from the other students to learn and to relax. She went through many different designs before she finally settled on this one, and she says she loves the dark feel because it makes it feel like it's her own. We go from one deathly area to another as we venture into Blane's Spiritswords Crocatopian dig site, which has a rather interesting story. A Marleybonian expedition wandered into here long ago and discovered the remains of, get this, a dragon. The Marleybonians were soon driven away by the Tuts though, and when they finally managed to return, they found that the spirits of the sands had taken over the dig site and they had to return to their home world with their tails between their legs. Blane's crazy Crocatopian story really puts an awesome spin on his room and landed him in the dorm room dash easy mode finals. Alright guys, we got some really fantastic questions this week and I'm excited to share them with you, so let's get the ball rolling with one from Crazy A who asks, why isn't Rattlebones a boss? For those of you wizards with a memory like mine, Rattlebones is the very, very first boss style encounter we face out in Unicorn Way. He's a rank 1 elite instead of a boss, but nevertheless, he's pretty tough. You're only allowed to go inside his little house by yourself, and I think this is KingsIsle's way of getting you comfortable with harder encounters without making it too hard. When you go up against Rattlebones, it's a learning experience where you're gently forced into an encounter where you're on your own with limited resources, and you can't just throw anything at him. You have to think, you have to strategize, you have to take what you've learned from your previous battles and apply it to this fight on your own so that you'll get a really good grasp of what it is you're supposed to do in the future. If you go there unprepared or you don't take the fight seriously, you'll probably be doing your best bobblehead impression before you know it. It's a very clever device that KingsIsle snuck in there to get us ready for the rest of the game, don't you think? I've heard that the Zafaria gear is a bit of a dud, says Umberon in his letter. What is your opinion on this? If you guys have followed Wizard Weekly for a while now, you've probably heard me grumbling and mumbling about gear and how overly powerful it has been in the past. And if you're new to Wizard Weekly, well, I'm sorry, I do that a lot here. I've done a ton of chanting about gear and how OP it makes us, and I think that KingsIsle may have heard that, and they've done their own research on it and found that, oops, yep, there are people out there one-shotting entire encounters, and entire 4v4 matches are ending on the 5th turn, and now they're kind of tuning down what we see at the end game so that even though we've beaten it, the content will still remain challenging. I don't think that the endgame gear is really a dud. I just think that we've gotten so used to having gear that makes us powerful Pwn Meisters that we're kind of spoiled on it. We're used to having all the stats we need, and then some. And this gear obviously doesn't have that. If KingsIsle sees that the endgame gear is actually a dud, they can toss an encounter in there with something to the effect of Waterworks, where we can pick up better stuff, but for the time being, I think they just want to see how well we do with the gear that's been given to us. Dude Wiz is looking to test out his new gear because he asks us, will the new crafting house made in the future have a battle arena circle like the Celestial Observatory? It's totally possible, but the thing with the Celestial Observatory is that the poor thing's kinda sparse, and I get the feeling that they tossed the PvP ring in there to fill the giant gap left in the courtyard that would otherwise have been blank. When you take a look at the other crafted houses, they're pretty full looking, and they really don't need that PvP ring as a fallback, even though, it would have been nice. Since we've seen the PvP rings in crafted content already, we'll more than likely see it in the future, but it may not be the next house or the house after that if there's no room for it structurally. It's kind of a shot in the dark when we'll see it next. Alright guys and gals, that's it for this week's Wizard Weekly. Thank you for tuning in, and remember to catch us next week. Happy weekend, everyone! Hey guys, I know how much you worry about Henry when he's not in Wizard Weekly, and I know he wasn't with me today. There was, an unfortunate incident with some Christmas lights earlier this week, and Henry's gonna be fine, but he's still in the care of Dr. Perot, and he's being disentangled. Hopefully he'll be rested and ready for next week's Wizard Weekly, because I know he misses you guys just as much as you miss him. Peace! As well as the occasional free item, and yesterday... messed up already. Hey everyone, welcome to Wizard Weekly. Oh man, I'm on a roll today.